If a workout doesn't hurt, is it even working? I mean, really think about that question for a second. Because that single, universally recognized phrase, it has unfortunately pushed millions of well-intentioned people into debilitating burnout, severe injuries, and honestly, quitting their fitness journey for good. But before we get to the bottom of this whole mess, just a quick note, this explainer is strictly educational content, okay? It's not medical advice. If you're dealing with a specific injury or chronic pain, please go talk to a doctor or a physical therapist. All right, let's dive into this.
Welcome to today's explainer. I am so thrilled you're here because today we're diving in to completely bust what is arguably the biggest, most deeply ingrained, and just downright damaging myth in all of fitness history. The whole idea of no pain, no gain. We are going to tear down this ridiculous misconception that suffering equals progress and replace it with the actual science-backed truth of what really builds muscle.
Section 1. The ultimate fitness myth. Section 2. Blaming 1980s gym culture. Look, if you've spent years pushing yourself to absolute agony, you're not foolish, okay? We were all sold this deeply ingrained pop culture lie. And to understand why we fell for it, we kindly need to do a little time traveling back to where it all began. The cultural shift was wild and rapid. Back in 1982, the Jane Fonda era kicked off, and it completely popularized these highly intense, sweat-drenched aerobics classes. Then, right around 1985, bodybuilding hits the mainstream, making these massive action star physiques the ultimate gold standard. So by 1989, gym culture had essentially synthesized these two trends together, firmly equating physical suffering with true effort. The flawed logic back then was just simple. The hardest workers hurt the most. And you see, this fundamental 80s mistake really comes down to one incredibly dangerous misunderstanding. Muscle fatigue does not equal muscle damage. But back then, people hopelessly confused the two. I mean, they felt the temporary exhaustion of a workout and just assumed they needed to push past it until they were literally damaging themselves. They actually thought the damage was the goal. Crazy, right?
Section 3. The real science of growth.
So what does modern sports science actually say? Well, according to extensive research from the NIH and the National Strength and Conditioning Association, growth absolutely does not come from sheer pain. It comes from something called progressive overload. Basically, this is the gradual increase of stress placed upon the body during exercise, combined with adequate recovery. Notice those key words there, gradual and recovery. It's all about strategically challenging the muscle, not destroying it so completely that you literally can't walk up the stairs the next day. To actually apply this in the gym, you have got to understand the difference between good discomfort and bad pain. It's a real game changer. Good discomfort, that's muscular fatigue. You know, that mild, deep burn from lactic acid buildup during your last few reps? It just means you're working hard. Bad pain, on the other hand, is sharp, sudden, and it happens right at the joint level. Listen to me on this one. That is your body's evolutionary warning signal, desperately screaming at you to stop. It is a warning signal, absolutely not a growth signal.
Section 4. The cost of suffering.
Treating pain like it's some sort of badge of honor is exactly what leads to highly preventable and sometimes even permanent gym injuries. Pushing through joint pain isn't hardcore, guys. It's actually a leading cause of preventable injuries that will literally sideline you for months. The tragic irony here is that in trying to gain results faster by just enduring the pain, you actually halt all your progress because you end up tearing a ligament or severely straining a tendon. And frankly, the physical injuries are just one part of it. Consider these findings from Harvard Health on something called overtraining syndrome. Imagine a super dedicated gym goer, right? They go 5, maybe 6 days a week, pushing to the absolute limit. Suddenly, for no obvious reason, their performance inexplicably drops. They can't lift as much, they just feel terrible all the time. So what do? Well, believing the old myth, they push even harder, completely refusing to rest. And this triggers this massive cascading collapse, chronic fatigue, severe hormonal disruption, rapid performance decline, and deep, deep psychological burnout. Eventually, as Harvard Health notes, this pushes people to just quit fitness altogether. It's a heartbreaking cycle caused entirely by bad information. Section 5. Train smarter, not harder. Okay, let's pivot to some actionable takeaways so you can rebuild your habits safely. This is a brilliant framework from the Mayo Clinic to help you easily distinguish normal soreness from a real injury. First step, check the feeling. Normal soreness is a dull ache, whereas a real injury is a sharp pain. Next, the location. Good soreness is going to be muscle-wide, meaning you feel it everywhere in that muscle group. An injury is intensely joint-specific. And finally, timing is everything. Normal soreness is usually delayed by about 24 to 48 hours. If you feel immediate, sharp pain the exact second you lift a weight, yeah, that's an injury. Stop immediately. So here are your actual science-backed steps to sustainable gains. Step 1. Make small, consistent weight increases. Please don't max out in pain. You want to progress gradually. Step 2. Embrace mandatory rest days for growth. I really want to champion this point because rest days are not laziness. Rest days are the exact biological moments when your muscles are actually repairing and growing larger. Think of it this way. You break them down in the gym, but you build them on the couch. And step 3, if pain ever limits your range of motion or lingers past 72 hours, you absolutely must stop and assess. I think it's time we put the 1980s to rest once and for all, don't you? Let's officially replace that old myth with a brand new, science-backed mantra. No pain, no gain? No way. Try this instead. Smart effort, real gain. Your new equation for success is simply consistency plus recovery equals growth. That is what the science demands, and honestly, that is exactly what your body needs. I really hope this explainer changes the way you look at your next workout. If this saved you from a bad gym habit, make sure to hit subscribe. We bust a new fitness myth like this every single week. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What's a fitness rule that you were taught growing up that turned out to be completely wrong? Let's get a really good discussion going down there. And one final quick reminder, just as we wrap up, this is strictly educational content, not medical advice. Train smart, recover well, and I will see you in the next explainer.